What's up, you glorious bastards? Welcome back for another deep dive, where we cut through the crap and get right to the good shit. Today we're talking about Changpeng Zhao. CZ, to those in the know, the dude behind Binance, the King Kong of crypto exchanges.
This guy's life is nuts.
This guy's life is absolutely nuts.
From flipping burgers to being a crypto billionaire.
To getting his ass thrown in jail.
Let's unpack how this motherfucker went from zero to hero to...
Oh, let's just say he's not living the high life anymore.
CZ's story really embodies the wild west of crypto.
The crazy highs.
The brutal lows.
And the constant dance with regulators.
Trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
All right, so rewind to the beginning. CZ wasn't born with a silver spoon up his ass.
No, he wasn't.
He was born in China. But after that whole Tiananmen Square shit went down, his family had to haul ass to Canada. Teenage CZ's busting his hump at McDonald's and gas stations to help his family scrape by. Not exactly the breeding ground for a future billionaire, right?
You'd think so, but it speaks to his drive and hustle. Even back then, CZ had this entrepreneurial spirit. But what really set the stage for his future was his insane coding skills.
Yeah, the dude was practically coding in the womb. Before Bitcoin was even a twinkle in Satoshi's eye, CZ was building high-frequency trading systems in Tokyo and Shanghai. This wasn't some basic HTML bullshit. He was deep in the matrix, writing algorithms that could make trades in milliseconds.
High-frequency trading is all about speed and efficiency, exploiting tiny price differences to make a profit. It requires a deep understanding of financial markets and the ability to write incredibly complex code. These skills would prove crucial later on when CZ entered the world of crypto.
Okay, so picture this. CZ is playing poker, probably with some other tech geeks, and someone starts talking about this new thing called Bitcoin. Now, most of us would just nod it along, pretending we knew what the fuck they were talking about. But CZ, he saw the potential, and he saw it big time. He went all in, literally. He sold his fucking apartment in Shanghai to buy a mountain of Bitcoin. Talk about balls of steel.
It was an incredibly risky move, especially back in those days. Bitcoin was still in its infancy, and nobody knew if it would crash and burn or become the future of finance. CZ was betting his future on this unproven technology.
And boy, did that gamble pay off. That one decision laid the foundation for his entire crypto empire. But let's be real. Most of us would have pissed away our rent money playing poker, not bet our life savings on some internet magic beans.
This is where CZ's story starts to separate from the average Joe's. That's where his vision and risk tolerance come in. He wasn't just blindly gambling. He saw the potential of blockchain technology and believed in Bitcoin's ability to disrupt traditional finance. This conviction, coupled with his technical expertise, would fuel his next big move.
And that move, my friends, was the birth of Binance. This wasn't some rinky-dink operation, running out of a basement. CZ launched Binance in 2017, and within 8 months, it became the biggest crypto exchange on the planet. We're talking billions of dollars being traded daily, all facilitated by this platform that CZ built. It was like watching a rocket launch into orbit, except the rocket was made of code and fueled by pure ambition.
Binance's growth was astonishing. Several factors contributed to its rapid rise. First, it launched at the perfect time, riding the wave of the 2017 crypto boom, when everyone and their grandma was trying to get a piece of the Bitcoin pie. Second, Binance offered a user-friendly platform that was accessible to both experienced traders and newbies dipping their toes into the crypto waters.
Yeah, unlike some of those other crypto platforms. That looked like they were designed by a drunken toddler. Binance was actually easy to use. You didn't need a PhD in cryptography to figure out how to buy, sell, or trade your shitcoins.
Exactly. They focused on user experience, making it simple for people to navigate the often complex world of crypto. They also aggressively expanded their offerings, adding new features and services at a breakneck pace. This rapid innovation kept them ahead of the curve and attracted a massive user base.
They're like the goddamn McDonald's of crypto, popping up on every street corner and serving up digital burgers to the masses.
That's a pretty accurate analogy. And just like McDonald's, they had a global strategy. Binance wasn't content with just dominating one market. They wanted to conquer the world. They expanded into multiple countries, catering to a diverse user base, and operating in jurisdictions with varying regulations.
With a polite way of saying they weren't afraid to push the boundaries and operate in some shady-ass places where the rules were a bit more flexible.
Let's just say they weren't always playing by the book. This aggressive expansion, while successful in the short term, would eventually come back to bite them in the ass.
Yeah, you can't outrun the long arm of the law forever, especially when you're dealing with billions of dollars. But before this shit hit the fan, CZ was living a dream. Binance was making it rain. and CZ was swimming in cash like Scrooge McDuck. At one point, this motherfucker was worth over $57 billion. That's enough money to buy a small country. Or a really, really big yacht with a solid gold toilet.
That kind of wealth creation is characteristic of the volatile crypto market. We saw a similar phenomenon during the dot-com bubble, where fortunes were made and lost overnight. It raises questions about sustainability, inequality, and the long-term impact of such rapid wealth accumulation.
It's like winning the lottery, but instead of scratching off a ticket, you're writing code and gambling on digital currencies that most people don't even understand. But hey, who are we to judge? We'd probably be popping champagne on our private jet too, if we were sitting on a mountain of crypto cash.
But as they say, the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
And boy did CZ take a tumble.
That he did. And his fall from grace was as dramatic and public as his rise to power. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of his legal troubles, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back to dissect how CZ went from crypto kingpin to, let's just say he had a rude awakening, courtesy of the feds. All right, so before the break, we were talking about how CZ was living the high life, swimming in crypto cash. But let's be real, no one stays on top forever, especially in the wild west of crypto.
Yeah, CZ's party got shut down hard when the fucking feds decided to crash it. We're talking the CFTC and the SEC, those alphabet soup agencies that love to rain on everyone's parade. They slapped Binance with lawsuits, accusing them of breaking U.S. laws and basically treating investors like a bunch of suckers. It was like watching a SWAT team raid a frat house.
Yeah.
Total chaos.
The CFTC, which regulates commodities trading, and the SEC responsible for securities, came down hard on Binance. The CFTC accused them of deliberately evading U.S. regulations and even facilitating money laundering. Some pretty serious shit. The SEC claimed Binance was operating as an unregistered securities exchange and misleading investors about the risks involved. Basically, they were saying Binance was playing fast and loose with the rules and putting people's money in danger.
And let's be honest, operating in those gray areas is kind of Binance's MO. They were pushing boundaries and taking risks, all in the name of disrupting the financial system.
Yeah.
But when you're playing with billions of dollars, those risks can have some serious consequences.
Exactly. Binance's approach was a double-edged sword. On one hand, it allowed them to grow rapidly and attract a global user base, but on the other hand, it put them in the crosshairs of regulators who were starting to crack down on the crypto Wild West.
It's like building a house of cards. You can stack them higher and higher, but one wrong move and the whole thing comes crashing down.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what happened to CZ and Binance.
The lawsuits were a major turning point. It sent shockwaves through the crypto community and highlighted the increasing scrutiny that the industry was facing. It was a wake-up call that the days of operating without consequences were over.
And the feds weren't fucking around. They wanted blood, and they wanted it from the topic. CZ stepped down as CEO. Binance coughed up a whopping $4.3 billion in fines, and CZ himself ended up pleading guilty to money laundering charges. Talk about a fall from grace.
It was a stark reminder that even the biggest players in the crypto world aren't above the law. The legal actions against Binance and CZ set a precedent and sent a clear message to other exchanges operating in regulatory gray areas. It was a turning point for the entire industry.
It's like that old saying, you can run, but you can't hide. Especially when you're a crypto kingpin with a giant target on your back.
The irony is a guy who made billions off digital currency gets busted for money laundering. You'd think he'd be smarter than to get caught with his hands in the cookie jar.
Maybe he thought he was too big to fail, or maybe just got cocky. Whatever the reason, he ended up trading his fancy suits for an orange jumpsuit. And let's be real, 4 months in prison for a billionaire is probably like a staycation. I doubt he was sharing a cell with Bubba and making license plates.
His incarceration, however brief, was a symbolic punishment, a public shaming for a man who once seemed untouchable.
It definitely tarnished his reputation, that's for sure. But it's interesting to see how he's trying to spin the narrative now. He's all about donating his wealth to charity and talking about libertarian ideals. It's like he suddenly discovered his conscience after getting caught with his pants down.
Well, there's a long history of wealthy individuals turning to philanthropy after facing legal trouble or public scrutiny. Some might see it as genuine remorse, while others might view it as an attempt to rehabilitate their image.
Yeah, it's hard to tell if it's genuine or just a PR stunt.
Yeah.
But hey, if he actually follows through and gives away his billions, at least some good will come out of this whole fucked up situation.
It's certainly a step in the right direction. But let's shift gears for a second and talk about Binance itself. Despite all the drama and legal battles, they're still a major player in the crypto world. How the hell did they manage to survive this shitstorm?
That's the million-dollar question. They paid their fines, CZ did his time, and somehow they managed to keep the ship afloat. It's like they got a slap on the wrist and a don't do it again from the principal.
Yeah.
But how did they pull it off?
Well, Binance has always been known for its resilience and adaptability. They're like a cockroach. You can try to squash them, but they just keep coming back.
Cockroaches with billions of dollars, that is?
Exactly. They were quick to respond to the regulatory pressure. They implemented stricter compliance measures, hired a bunch of lawyers and consultants, and basically tried to clean up their act. They also continued to innovate, expanding into new markets and offering new products and services.
So basically, they played the game, adapted to the rules, and managed to stay ahead of the curve. But let's be real. The crypto world is still a bit of a wild west. Is Binance really a reformed outlaw, or are they just waiting for the next opportunity to bend the rules?
That's a question only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the regulatory landscape is constantly evolving, and Binance will need to stay agile if they want to remain a major player in the game.
It's like playing a game of whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
As soon as you knock down one regulatory hurdle, another one pops up. But let's get back to CZ for a second. The dude's out of prison now, and he's got to figure out what to do with the rest of his life. He can't exactly go back to flipping burgers, right?
Well, he's certainly not short on options. He could try to rebuild his reputation and become a respected figure in the crypto world. He could focus on his philanthropic endeavors and try to make a real difference with his wealth. Or he could just say, fuck it, and retire to a private island with a harem of supermodels and a lifetime supply of champagne.
That's the dream. Right. But knowing CZ, he's not the type to sit around and do nothing. He's a builder, a disruptor, a guy who thrives on pushing boundaries.
He's certainly got a restless spirit. It'll be interesting to see what path he chooses and what impact he has on the future of crypto. But before we delve into the possibilities, let's take another quick break. When we come back, we'll explore what CZ's next move might be and what it means for the rest of us trying to navigate this crazy world of digital currency.
All right, you beautiful degenerates, we're back to wrap up this deep dive into the life and times of CZ, the crypto kingpin who got his ass handed to him by the feds. It's a story that's got it all. Rags to riches, prison blues, and enough twists and turns to make your head spin.
CZ's journey is a microcosm of the crypto industry itself. The wild speculation, the regulatory battles, the constant push and pull between innovation and control.
It's like watching a rocket launch into space, then explode in a fiery ball of shit, only to have the pieces magically reassemble themselves into a slightly dented, but still functional spaceship. Binance is still out there, trading billions of dollars. And CZ is a free man, albeit a bit later in the wallet and probably with a few more gray hairs.
Binance has shown remarkable resilience, adapting to the changing regulatory landscape and continuing to innovate. They've implemented stricter compliance measures, expanded into new markets, and even launched their own blockchain network.
So basically, they learned how to play the game, right? They figured out how to operate within the system while still pushing the boundaries. It's like they tamed the wild beast of crypto, put a collar on it, and trained it to sit and fetch.
That's one way to put it, but the question remains, is Binance truly a reformed outlaw? Or are they just biding their time, waiting for the next opportunity to break free from the leash?
Only time will tell. But let's get back to CZ himself. The dude's got to figure out what to do with the rest of his life. He's got billions of dollars, a tarnished reputation, and a burning desire to prove he's more than just a crypto bro who got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. What's next for the fallen kingpin?
He's got a few options. He could try to rebuild his reputation, become a philanthropist, or maybe write a tell-all book about his time in the slammer. Knowing CZ, he's not the type to just sit back and count his money.
Yeah, the dude's got that restless energy, that drive to build and disrupt. He's like a shark that needs to keep moving to stay alive.
It's hard to predict what he'll do next, but one thing's for sure, he's not going away anytime soon. He's a force to be reckoned with, and his story is far from over.
So what does all this mean for the rest of us, the average Joes trying to navigate this crazy world of crypto? Should we jump on the bandwagon? Invest our life savings in Bitcoin? And pray for a Lambo?
Investing in crypto is a personal decision, and it's not for the faint of heart. It's a volatile market, and there are risks involved. But there's also potential for huge rewards.
It's like playing poker with the devil. You might win big, but you also might lose your soul. But even if you're not a crypto trader, CZ's story has some valuable lessons for all of us.
It teaches us about the importance of regulation, the consequences of operating in legal gray areas, and the need for transparency and accountability in the financial system.
It also shows us that even the most powerful figures can fall from grace. No one is above the law. And even in the supposedly decentralized world of crypto, the long arm of the law can still reach you.
It's a cautionary tale, but also a story of resilience and adaptation. Binance survived the shitstorm, and CZ is back in the game. It's a reminder that the crypto world is constantly evolving. and those who can adapt will thrive.
So stay curious, stay skeptical, and don't be afraid to take risks. But don't be stupid. Do your own research, invest wisely. And remember, in the world of crypto, anything is possible. Until next time, you glorious bastards.